Most people think power means control over others, but real power begins with the control of perception. Reverse psychology isn't just about getting people to do the opposite of what you say. It's about guiding their thinking without them ever realizing it. It's the art of planting an idea so subtly that they believe it was theirs all along. Every day you're surrounded by people trying to influence you. Advertisers, friends, lovers, even family, all using invisible tactics to shape how you think, feel, and act. Some do it consciously, most don't. But the ones who do it with intent, the ones who understand the psychology behind resistance and desire, those people can move mountains without lifting a hand. Reverse psychology is their quiet weapon. And if you don't understand it, you'll spend your life being steered by those who do.
Let's start with something simple. People hate being told what to do. The more direct the command, the stronger the instinct to resist it. Tell a child not to touch the fire, and suddenly the flame becomes irresistible. Tell an adult to stay calm, and they'll panic faster. This isn't immaturity, it's human nature. The mind confuses authority with control, and the ego refuses to be controlled. That's why the best manipulators never command. They guide, they plant, they suggest, they create the illusion of choice. They say, "You're free to decide," knowing full well the person will do exactly what they want. Reverse psychology works not because people are stupid, but because people crave autonomy. They want to feel in control, even when they aren't. The secret, then, is not to fight that desire. It's to use it.
Niccolo Machiavelli once wrote that men are driven more by fear of losing freedom than by the desire to use it. He understood something essential. Control must feel like freedom to be effective. The best way to lead someone isn't by force. It's by allowing them to believe they're leading themselves. So when you want to influence someone, don't push, pull. Don't demand, direct through suggestion. Say less, imply more. Make the path you want them to walk look like their own discovery. That's how kings controlled courts, how generals controlled armies, and how quiet thinkers control the world today. But here's the darker truth. The same mechanism that allows you to influence others is the one they'll use to influence you. Every time you rebel out of pride, every time you say, "I'll do the opposite just to prove I'm free," you become predictable. And once someone can predict you, they can control you. Reverse psychology isn't just manipulation outward, it's defense inward. You must learn to see when your resistance is being used against you. The moment someone tells you not to do something and you want to do it more, stop. Ask yourself, why do I suddenly care so much? That's not independence. That's programming. Someone just turned your ego into a lever.
If you want to master reverse psychology, start by mastering your own triggers. Because manipulation doesn't begin when someone talks, it begins when you react. The calm mind sees through influence. The reactive mind becomes its puppet. When someone says, "Don't worry about it," your curiosity spikes. When someone says, "You wouldn't understand," your pride wakes up. When someone says, "You're too emotional to handle this," your ego steps forward to prove them wrong. That's reverse psychology in action, a mirror of your own insecurities. The Machiavellian doesn't fall for it. They see every provocation as a test of control. The moment you need to prove something, you've already lost. So here's your first rule of psychological power. Never respond to the bait. Silence is your shield. Detachment is your sword. When someone tries to manipulate you through reverse psychology, don't react emotionally. Instead, analyze it like a scientist. Observe their tone, their timing, their intent. Ask yourself, what reaction are they trying to get from me? Then, do the opposite of what your emotions want to do. This is the paradox. To defend against manipulation, you must become capable of it. To detect strategy, you must think strategically. The fool calls this deception. The wise call it self-defense.
Reverse psychology works because it uses the ego's gravity against itself. The stronger your need to prove you're free, the easier you are to control. But the person who no longer needs to prove anything, they're untouchable. They can't be manipulated through pride, fear, or validation. They act from reason, not reaction. This is what separates the powerful from the emotional. The emotional person moves based on what they feel in the moment. The powerful person moves based on the outcome they want. And sometimes that means pretending to be influenced, letting others think they've won, while you quietly guide the direction of the entire game. You want an example? Imagine someone trying to provoke you. They say, "You'd never have the guts to stand up to me." The emotional person argues. The calm strategist smiles. "Maybe," they say, "maybe not." And the provoker doesn't know what to do next because the script they wrote for you suddenly fell apart. In that moment, you've done more than resist. You've reversed the reversal. You've turned their tactic against them. That's the highest level of psychological control, not reacting, but redirecting.
Now, let's turn to the real-world application. Reverse psychology can shape behavior in negotiation, relationships, and leadership, but only if you understand the timing. Push too soon and it feels like manipulation. Wait too long and the moment passes. You must sense when resistance is strongest. That's when suggestion is most effective. For instance, when someone is dead set on doing something foolish, direct confrontation rarely works. Tell them it's a bad idea and you become the enemy. But if you say, "You're right, maybe it's worth trying, though it's probably too difficult for most people," you shift their ego into overdrive. Now they're working to prove you wrong. And in doing so, they reveal everything: their motives, their insecurities, their limits. A Machiavellian never blocks desire head-on. They redirect it. Here's a deeper truth most people never realize. Reverse psychology is less about words, more about framing. You're not telling someone what to do. You're framing what not to do in a way that makes them choose your desired outcome. It's persuasion through contrast. If I say, "Don't worry about the money, it's probably not something you can afford right now," I've planted a challenge, a social trigger that links rejection to pride. If I say, "You probably wouldn't enjoy this, it's a bit too quiet for your taste," I've created curiosity. The illusion of exclusion fuels desire. Marketers use this every day. Limited time only, invitation only, members exclusive. These are all forms of reverse psychology in disguise, telling you you can't have something to make you want it more. The powerful see through this. The manipulated obey it. But here's the turning point. If you truly want to master this art, you must apply it first to yourself. The hardest person to influence is the one inside your own head. When you say, "I must stay calm," your brain resists. But if you say, "Let's see how long I can stay calm before losing control," suddenly it becomes a challenge, a game,
and your mind engages differently. You've used reverse psychology on your own emotions. That's how self-mastery begins. You can't conquer others until you can manipulate your own impulses. The Machiavellian mind doesn't fight emotion. It uses emotion strategically. Anger can motivate, pride can anchor, curiosity can distract. Every feeling becomes a tool if you know where to direct it. Reverse psychology, then, isn't just external manipulation. It's internal engineering. When you learn to play both sides of the game, influencing others while remaining immune to their influence, that's when you ascend to real control. Not dominance, but direction. Not authority, but awareness. The irony? The strongest practitioners of reverse psychology rarely use it overtly. They don't need to. Their calmness, their detachment, their tone already suggest control. The more subtle they are, the more effective they become. The amateur says, "I'll make them do what I want." The master says, "I'll let them think they're doing what they want." That's the art, making influence invisible.
So remember this, every time you try to prove yourself, you're stepping into someone else's game. Every time you feel the urge to rebel, ask who benefits if you do. Every time you feel manipulated, stop reacting and start observing. Because reverse psychology is only powerful over those who can't see it. By the end of this series, you won't just see it, you'll use it, strategically, ethically if you choose, or ruthlessly if you must. Because in a world built on influence, understanding reverse psychology isn't manipulation, it's self-defense.
You learned the theory. Now learn the craft. Reverse psychology is not a trick you pull once and forget. It's a set of calibrated moves, small shifts in language, timing, and posture that change what people choose before they think they've chosen. In the hands of the untrained, it looks like manipulation. In the hands of the skilled, it looks like inevitability. Listen close. I will teach you the practical architecture, how to plant ideas so they bloom in someone else's mind, how to steer without being seen, and how to defend yourself when the same tools are turned your way.
Begin with the simplest weapon, the false choice. People dislike being ordered, but they crave options. Give them 2 doors, both of which lead to what you want. One looks safe and small, the other looks bold and plausible, and both end at your outcome. They'll feel satisfied because they chose. You win because you designed the maze. The false choice must feel real. If the options are clearly stacked, the mind smells control and resists, so present them with equal care. Use tone to level the field. Let your eyes suggest neutrality while your language nudges. We can do A, which is steady but slow, or B, which moves faster but risks more. Which do you prefer? Either way, the direction is yours. Next, master calibrated concession. Give something small away so you can take something larger later. People value what they earn. If you hand them a concession, they'll feel obliged to reciprocate. But never give what you can't afford to lose. Concede triviality to secure the prize. Concession must look accidental, not transactional. Make it appear you yielded because you admired their point, not because you were pressured.
There is an elegant cousin to concession, strategic doubt. If you want someone to defend an idea, cast mild, credible doubt on it. People hate helplessness. They will justify, protect, and strengthen whatever you subtly questioned, often with more vigor than if you had praised it. Say, "I'm not sure this fits our usual style," and watch them tighten their defense. You have moved them from passive to invested.
One of the most reliable techniques is the art of suggestion, asking questions that contain the answer. Instead of saying, "You should hire her," you ask, "Who on this team could deliver this and still keep costs low?" Guide them to your preferred name. Questions are traps disguised as curiosity. They let people commit to your idea because they built it themselves. Timing is critical. The same line delivered in heat fails. The same line delivered in the lull succeeds. Reverse psychology blooms in the pause. When emotion surges, people cling to identity. When the room cools, they cling to logic. Plant your seeds in that cooling period. Pause. Wait until others slow. Make your suggestion feel like relief, not pressure.
Learn strategic vulnerability. Appearing a little unsure at the right moment can be a magnet. If you allow someone to correct you, their ego grows. While they grow, they align with you. Say, "I may be wrong about this. What would you do?" And then let them speak. While they assert themselves, drop a single line that frames your outcome as their success. They will defend it because they were part of creating it. Another subtlety, reverse labeling. Assign someone a quality you want them to display. You're the kind of person who finishes what you start, and they will act to match the label. We crave consistency with the identity others give us. Give a label that favors your outcome, then step back and let the self-fulfilling prophecy do its work. Use scarcity and exclusion carefully. Telling people they can't have something makes them want it, but this must be credible. If everything is exclusive, the word loses power. Reserve scarcity for genuine moments, deadlines, limited spots, unique privileges. Combine scarcity with a calm face. The quieter you are about restriction, the louder it roars in their mind. Now, the defensive arts. It is not enough to use these moves. You must survive them.
First defensive rule. Name the move. When someone tries to bait you, you'd never do that. Answer in a way that strips the tactic of its power. That sounds like a test. What outcome are you hoping for? Naming deflates the script. It's a polite, intellectual way to say, "I see you." It forces the manipulator to either justify plainly or retreat. Second, reframe instantly. If someone frames a choice as "you must act now," you don't argue the urgency. You change the frame. If we act now, what exactly changes for us in 6 months? Reframing moves the debate into your terrain, where you set the criteria. Third, use meta questions. Ask, "Why is this important to you?" Or, "How will this decision reflect on what we want long-term?" Meta questions reveal motive and redirect attention to principles, not provocations. They make emotional bait look petty and surface level. Fourth, deploy calibrated confusion. When someone pushes hard, occasionally act mildly perplexed. "I'm trying to follow you. Walk me through how this benefits me specifically." Confusion forces clarity from them. It slows momentum and exposes weakness. A confident, perplexed face breaks the rhythm of aggression.
Practice your body language scripts. Reverse psychology is emotional engineering. Your body signals before your words do. Keep breathing measured. Anchor your feet. Make your hands still. When you speak, bow slightly into silence. It makes your suggestion sound like a conclusion, not a hope. Now, Real examples, practical templates you can use. In negotiation, you want a concession without seeming to ask. Say, I believe this deal benefits you most, but perhaps it's too favorable to you. Would you consider balancing it by X? You've implied generosity and created obligation. They will often agree to balance because reciprocity now feels natural. In leadership, for compliance without resentment, frame directives as autonomy. I'd like you to lead this. How would you structure it? They accept responsibility while you secure the direction. In relationships, when a partner resists change, use the soft reverse. Maybe you're right. It's probably easier the way we always do it. Suggest the opposite of what you want, then wait. Many partners will argue for the new path to prove their openness or competence. In public conflict, if someone loudly attacks you, respond not with argument, but with a quiet question. Help me understand where you're coming from. They must explain, and the audience will hear their motivations. You win by redirecting voltage into narrative. But remember this: ethical sophistication matters. Reverse psychology can be used to protect, to lead, to teach. It can also be used to exploit and destroy. The Machiavellian mind asks, what is the cost? Every gain extracted through hidden pressure invites future mistrust. Use the art strategically. Conservation of influence is as important as its exercise.
Train yourself. Create micro-experiments. At dinner, suggest the opposite of what you want and see how others react. In low-stakes negotiations, practice labels and false choices. Journal your responses. Note where your ego pushed you to react and where your pause won the moment. Finally, the ultimate defense: make your intentions uninteresting. If people cannot predict what will rouse you, they cannot script you. Vary your responses. Build a reputation for thoughtful silence. Let people test you and fail. Let them think the game is simple, then change it. Power without presence is noise. Reverse psychology without restraint is cruelty. The goal is not to bend wills for sport. The goal is to move outcomes with minimal force, to preserve relationships while steering them, to be the calm center where others rush and fumble. You are learning a craft that ancient rulers used and modern strategists refine. Use it, first on yourself, until your reflexes change. Then use it outwardly as necessary. Protect your mind. Name the bait. Reframe the debate. Give them choices that make them feel free, while you remain the architect. And when you leave this room, say it quietly to yourself: I plant nothing I cannot receive. I bend without breaking. I am the calm that guides the storm. Walk into the world with that sentence in your chest. Let others test you. Let them think they win. Watch as by their own hands they walk precisely where you planned them to go. That is the power of reverse psychology, the authority to shape choice without appearing to seize it, the strength to defend your mind while expanding your influence, the mastery of being both invisible and inevitable.